Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 439 for February 18th, 2024. My name is Nathan Reetin-Spruth, and this week we have Connor Cyberpunk Monk Bash.
It's me, I'm here.
And Andrew Rowe McFain.
It's me, I'm here.
Of course, I'm your host, Nathan Reetin-Spruth, and hey, where can we find you guys?
You can find me, you can find you can find Aroa at aroa.website. And one of those links I'd like to draw your attention to is Rise of the Rune Lord. No. Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition actually podcast. I have too many podcasts. This is becoming a problem.
We're going to have more, apparently. See, this is why I suggested we just have one podcast that we do like, all right, so we're done with this series, but we're going to start a new series. Because once we're done with Bug City Blues, what are we going to do? That's my question.
I owe you a Power Rangers campaign, so we will probably do that immediately afterwards. And then I'm not sure if I want to be the one editing, but I definitely want to play this game called Mothership that just came out. Like I got plans on the back burner, but we probably still got a year of Shadowrun or so.
Well, especially with how long we're taking to actually play the game.
At this rate, it might be 2 years just by the time that we can meet up again. That's not an exciting topic to talk about, though. Every single gaming group has this issue. We are not alone.
Yeah. Speaking of Bug City Blues, if I do go to Germany, I am going to Germany, but if I meet somebody named Panchetta who's a drug dealer, I think I have to do drugs. I think...
It's weird that you already have this exact scenario lined up. Oh darn, this just happened.
Happened.
I know this happened. You paid me to show up here. Oh, I guess if you're already here.
It's just Alex.
Oh. It's just Alex with a fake mustache on.
And then we have Andrew Rowe McFain. You want to list anything where we can find you?
Just go to the website. It's there. Just go there.
No projects in the back burner or the front burner.
I'm not saying nothing ever, because then it won't happen.
Every time you do, you're like, I'm gonna do this. And it's like, hey, when are you finishing Undertale? Shut up. That's when.
Never.
When are you finishing that Danganronpa stuff? Never.
Never. I already did.
I know.
When is the Aroa cut of Sonic Adventure coming out? I'm waiting for it.
Oh man.
That'd be it's
Aroa
one. Voicing everybody.
He already did like he did 10% of the bid already, and I'd bring it up as a joke, but I actually loved it. I would play the fuck out of that Aroa.
I really want to do it because I think it'd be funny as fuck. But
effort and jobs and all that. You can find me, Nathan Reetin-Spruth, everywhere at Reetin, mainly twitch.tv/Reetin, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. Next month, from the 29th of February to the 15th of March, I will be gone. I will be in Germany. I will be in Belgium for a day and a half, and I will be in the Netherlands for like a day. It'll be fun. Hopefully, and not completely terrifying going through a country where I don't understand the language. It'll be great. Thankfully, we have universal translators now, right?
Like my experience, at least in German, like I speak enough German. I'm more than conversational in German. That being said, every single person I met, except for one printer technician, found out I was an American. Was like, oh, this is wonderful. I can speak English to you.
Well, yeah. So. I mean, that's one of the things. It's one of the jokes, but it's actually real. There's a movie I really love. The reason I'm going to Belgium is there's a movie called In Bruges, and Colin Farrell's character is like, one of the great things about European countries is I can go wherever I want and everyone speaks English.
It is convenient.
And I was like,
I don't think we could go to like Spain, to be fair.
We could probably still get I actually know a little bit of Spanish, so we might be able to get along okay.
Well, you probably know Mexican Spanish though.
That's true. That is true.
They do Portuguese.
Yeah. We again, we have phones that can translate this stuff easy.
And then they're like, "Oh, a phone. Yoink. Bye."
Oh, a phone. Oh, and you're like, "No." No, I won't be going to Brazil anytime soon by myself. And if I did, it would be a very touristy place. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna ask, what games did you play this week, Aroa?
I've just been fucking with my computer most of the week. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little story, little fun little
About
story.
how
So,
your life got twisted and upside down?
more about how I can't fucking read.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I got all this new shit. I got a motherboard, and I guess all the new Ryzen processors have GPUs built into them, which is cool. I missed that.
Yeah, they all of them have some level of GPU performance. I don't think they have in like hardware encoding though. So like NVENC or AMD's version of NVENC,
Yeah,
it doesn't have online media coding, but go on.
whatever. I got 16 physical cores. I'll just software encode. But
Or use your
fucking
graphics card, but whatever.
so I'm trying to get everything set up. I want to do the Linux graphics pass through thing, so I've got Windows running on the NVIDIA GPU, and then I was like, all right, cool. I can have Windows on the NVIDIA GPU, and then I can plug these monitors also into the AMD onboard GPU, so that I can still have dual monitors, but it'll be running off of the other GPU, so everything will work just fine. So I plug one into the HDMI port, and I plug one into the display port, and then it only the HDMI one works. Like, why? What am I doing wrong? What did I do? And I'm doing all this fucking tweaking shit. I'm like,
Can we back up here? I want to ask you, when you plugged into the display port in HDMI, was that via your onboard graphics, like on the motherboard,
mhm.
or was that okay? I just wanted to verify for myself and the audience.
So you can do both. You can like right now I'm running two monitors off of the NVIDIA graphics card and one monitor off of the onboard. Uh, which I'll explain why in a moment. So yeah, I do that, and I'm fucking around. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm in my Xorg config because I ain't running Wayland because I'm old school or something, or whatever. I don't trust Wayland. Wayland has too many problems. Linux boys will know what the fuck I'm talking about. Uh, Point being, I do all this. I spend literally 3 days trying to figure this shit out. I've driven myself to the point of like just giving up. And then I look up the manual for my motherboard. Because I'm like, what the fuck does it say about this fucking display port? Is there something special about it where like, oh, you can't do both at the same time or something? And the answer was, uh, it's an input.
That's
Fucking motherboard has a display port in.
but that I mean, I guess that's cool. Like, it would be useful for somebody like me who does streaming and
Yeah,
stuff.
well, it's like I okay, yeah, but one, why
Does,
display port?
does it have like a capture card then? Is it
I guess if you install, so like I'm in Linux, so
maybe
I don't.
OBS?
That's well. What I'm thinking is, I'm wondering if I go back to Windows and I install all of the like AMD bloatware shit, if there's an option, or not the AMD bloatware, the Asus bloatware shit. I'm wondering if it will install like a virtual camera
Yeah.
driver, and then that's like a DisplayPort capture card, which, like, okay,
That would be
um,
okay, to be fair. If it were mine and I used it as my secondary streaming PC, that would be perfect. Cuz then I wouldn't have to buy a
so,
different
like,
capture card or anything.
but DisplayPort can't do audio. So
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
can.
no, it can't.
DisplayPort. Oh, Yeah, I thought DisplayPort could.
No, DisplayPort is only video as far as I'm aware, unless that's changed.
Yes, DisplayPort is popular alternative HDMI cables. Yeah, it does display audio. Yeah, it
I
I do
supports
want to say I am
multi-channel audio.
positive.
Yeah, I was
I am
like,
positive. Just because using it from work, we use DisplayPort cables, and those monitors
Oh, okay.
definitely get audio passed.
yeah,
Oh, I thought that was like, at least back with like DisplayPort 1.2, like that was like the big pain in the ass is that you also had to run the 3.5 millimeter audio cable
I
or
do
use
remember
USB.
doing that. I think I remember doing that with HDMI more though.
yeah.
HDMI is definitely got audio in it.
And I think that
That's
was
the whole
just because
point.
we had a funky setup more than anything. Like I think the speakers on the computer itself didn't work, so we had external. Like I remember it being goofy, but yeah,
Right.
we haven't needed to do that in a long time. At least not with DisplayPort.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes some sense, but also like, what? I guess you'd have to do like a dual PC setup or something, because it's like no game console outputs DisplayPort, and I don't
Yeah,
even
well-
think, because I was thinking maybe like cameras. Do cameras output DisplayPort?
No, it's always
Right.
HDMI. The only thing I could think of is you'd have to get an HDMI to DisplayPort adapter.
Well, that or like,
Yeah,
what if you have
which
a part
is-
of a rack that does output like my security cameras on a rack, like a standalone system, and I want to import that to a computer or something? Maybe that's. I'm trying to think of like practical applications that aren't like, haha, this is my streaming computer.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
just
and
so
that's
strange because it's like, it's the motherboard I have is an Asus ProArt, so it's like it's meant to be for creative professionals, because I got it mainly because it has like fucking 12 USB ports on the back of it, and it has 2.5 gigabit and 10 gigabit LAN,
nice.
and the other X670E board only had one LAN port and had like 8 USB ports.
I need to get
It's
a.
like, fuck it.
I need to
It
get
might
a
be
2.5.
it might be for photophiles. Like, I know a lot of the people with those fancy camera snobs, they can like just hook them up to TVs. I've seen them do it before. Maybe it's for that kind of use case.
No
But
idea.
yeah, I guess if it's a creative machine, maybe it is for streaming. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really weird, but anyway, yeah. So
I'm sorry
I
you
felt
had to
really
go through that. That's really annoying.
Yeah, it was like just fucking like 3 days of fucking with this shit, and I could have just read the label on the motherboard that says DP in, but I just went DisplayPort. I'll plug in and it'll go.
Man, I don't
Um,
think that one's really on you. Like, we could color the ports maybe differently just so it's instinctive, but like, I see a port, I'm gonna plug it in. In
Yeah,
fact,
and-
I've had
Yeah.
a similar issue. It's not exactly where one was an in and one is an out. The issue that we had is there was a very brief time where we had a specific brand of docking station where the HDMI and the DisplayPort would share a rail. So if you plugged one in, it would effectively turn off the other one. We never got told that. We didn't really know to look out for that. So like, if we're setting up 20 or 40 of these things at a time, we're not testing until they're all done, and like half of them aren't working for some reason, and we don't know where they're plugged in. It makes for an interesting evening.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking the whole time. Was it like, oh, is it something where I just like, certainly there's got to be somewhere where I can jury rig this and it'll like both of them will work. And I even did try, like, I unplugged the HDMI one and just did DisplayPort, and I was like, why did it just stop working? I swear this fucking worked. And that was the other thing, is initially all of the monitors were working. And it was because I had one of them also plugged into the NVIDIA card and just didn't realize it. I was gaslighting myself on top of it all.
Nice.
But
It'd be
anyway,
like that, man, sometimes. Like, when you just got to get it to work and nothing else is working, you do crazy things. I've been there. And you know what? Sometimes it works.
but at the end of it, come to find out, the onboard does support multiple monitors. It supports 3. It's just that 2 of the USB-C ports are also display outputs.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got some USB-C to DisplayPort cables, and yeah,
And
we're
you have
gonna do
did
that.
you-
And
Did you order that online or did you go to Micro Center or something?
then, no, I just got them off Amazon.
Oh, okay. We are going to move on. We're going to ask Connor what games he's played this week.
I promise it's a really short list. We're gonna blow through this. I haven't done too much PC gaming, like on my computer, but I've gotten a ton of Steam Deck time in this week. So let me go over my routine here because I think it's kind of adorable. I usually get home from work. The puppy's got an injured paw right now, so I'm not walking him like super far, but we'll go around the house or whatever just so get some fresh air and stretch his leg. At which point he'll pass out on the couch and I will play my Steam Deck on the TV. Games I've been playing on that are Days Gone, which runs pretty phenomenally well on a Game Boy. Other games I've been playing are the Mega Man Battle Network games, which are, fine. It's nostalgia. That's all these games are for me is nostalgia. And then the one that I want to bring up, I mentioned it earlier, Sonic Adventure DX. Okay, I was genuinely at a time being like, I will play this next when Aurora releases the Aurora cut. And it's not that like I ran out of patience. It's just that I was looking through games that'd be cool to play just, on the couch while the pup is passed out or whatever. And something about it just called out to me. Did you guys know that this game has like a super in-depth and still alive modding community?
Did Aurora know that?
that was why I ended up doing that thing, was because I was going through a Game Banana and was just like, holy fucking shit, there's so much.
Yeah, Game Banana was who I used to get it working on my Steam Deck. I learned a lot about getting like proton tricks and making a Steam Deck act a little bit more like a Windows computer instead of a Linux computer. And boy, am I glad that I took the day or so to not just know what I'm doing, but really learn how everything is working. Because now that this game is modded, it is so fun. Did you know this game had like DLC back on the Dreamcast?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
What do you
knocking
mean?
the wind out of me.
I'm sorry. Well, what do you mean?
No,
Cyberpunk Monk?
Yeah.
Like they have extra holiday content. They got content for Nights into Dreams.
Oh. Yeah. Well, you had to be able to connect to the internet on the Dreamcast, though.
Which I mean, we played Fantasy. I was gushing with my coworker about Phantasy Star earlier. Like Dreamcast had network stuff going for it. It was pretty, in more ways than one. The Dreamcast was so ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. If only if it had if the broadband adapter had been more available in the United States, or if it had just had broadband built in, that would have been a game changer.
And another thing, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Same thing with Nintendo with the GameCube, is they just used CDs. They still continue to use CDs instead of using DVDs.
There were GDRs.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah.
I mean, if we really want to bring that up, they shot themselves in the foot by having no DRM on their discs. But like,
yeah.
people still bought the consoles. Like that was at a time when Sega was selling hardware.
Yeah, we'll talk more about.
Well, I was just gonna say we'll probably bring that up again later.
Yeah, but are you done with the games that you played?
Yeah, I'm done gushing over this. I just wanted to
Okay.
mention, like, for a game that came out in 1996, the fact that there's a community still keeping it alive just warmed my heart. Like, I booted it up once and just configured it just to, like, make sure that I had everything the way I wanted. And it's like, oh, there's an update. Really? Hell, sure.
There's a what now? What's an update?
Like, it's being worked on? Okay.
The games that we're gonna move on to me. The games I played.
I got just one last one.
Oh.
I haven't been playing. I've been modding Halo: The Master Chief Collection.
Oh.
There is one guy left at Bungie or 343 whatever who still works on this. One guy in his free time. That is all the responsibility. Which means they've opened up the floodgates for people who like know how to program and modders and stuff. Like this game is on the Steam workshop. You could just make stuff and put it on there. It's that easy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So I haven't
cool.
published anything yet, but I've been working with a friend who plays it all the time. We have flashlights working in Halo now, like the ones that didn't have it before, Halo 4, ODST, and that's fun. Like we're doing stuff.
It's fun that they take away features.
Well, originally it was because of the key binding. So we have like in ODST, if you press down on the keypad, which is the same as down on the D-pad, that usually toggles like like your next objective, the icon to see where it is.
Uh-huh.
And now we just add a little script that says, hey, when you press that, also toggle your flashlight.
Nice.
So like I'm not playing it, but it's fun. It's a good excuse to go back to Halo, and boy, who doesn't love the old Halo game?
They're good. They're good Halo games.
There's a mod for Halo 1 in within the Master Chief Collection.
Is it the cursed one?
Yeah.
We did that too. It's a whole lot of fun.
It's fucking amazing.
Listener, if you like Halo at all and you have like 3 seconds to laugh at a YouTube video, go look up Cursed Halo. It'll be worth your time.
Good. I don't know what they're talking about, so I'm going to move on, and we're going to talk about the games I played.
There's a fully functional Mario Kart Cup in that mod.
It's crazy. And it does all of that without modifying any DLL files. Like, the fact that this all works just by being attached with a piece of string and a bit of tape, it's phenomenal.
Interesting.
I'm sorry you don't like Halo, Nathan.
I do like Halo. I just don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about Yakuza. I'm sorry, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and I still haven't got to the Harvest Moon, the Animal Crossing part yet, because that's in chapter 6.
Some people I know say that's literally their favorite part of the game.
So I've got to my favorite part of the game so far, and that is
Tsushima battles.
No, there's a dungeon. There's a dungeon where you go in and you're just trying to explore the dungeon and go down and save people. And it's like a randomly generated dungeon every time you come back in and just fight enemies and stuff. Yeah, and that's where I have been grinding. It's my favorite part.
I fucking love the Like a Dragon games.
Yeah, there's like an abandoned building, and they're like, oh yeah, for some reason when you go in there, the layout changes. And I'm like, yeah, I played video games before. And so that's where I've been going, and it's a place where you can grind levels, and that is unlocked in chapter 5, and then in chapter 6 is when you unlock the Animal Crossing stuff. So I'm still getting to the point. The dungeon, you'll love this, Connor, because you played through Yakuza Like a Dragon. Remember the Michi robot from?
Yes, I do.
He is the one who is outside of the dungeon, like that you can purchase equipment from and helps you get into the dungeon and stuff.
That makes me very happy. I'm glad that he stuck around.
Yeah, they keep bringing in the same characters from the previous game. It's like, how'd you end up in Hawaii? It's like, because shut up, that's why.
There is a very large Japanese population in Hawaii, like in the real world.
It is a popular tourist destination for Japanese people as well. Just because I think it's because it's actually pretty close. It's like 3-hour flight away from Tokyo, 3 or 4 hour flight. So
I saw the stats once, and I'm kind of pulling it out of his butt. So forgive me if it's not accurate, but it's like only 20% of Japanese population has a passport, and of that, only like 5% of those will go somewhere outside of Japan with it.
Yeah, it's it's very like insular.
Sorry, not Japan, but like Asia, like the greater Asian area.
Yeah, I know that during Chinese New Year, apparently a lot of Chinese people will go over to Japan and go to Disneyland. And I know that because I went to Disneyland on the Chinese New Year, and it was not a fun experience, to be honest. There was just
too many people.
Way too many people, and we went back to the Airbnb. My sister and I were talking to the lady who ran the Airbnb, and we're like, "Oh yeah, we went to Disneyland," and she's like, "Oh no." Like, oh okay. Well, obviously we should have consulted you before we went there. It was awesome though. But yeah, Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Great game. I got to the labyrinth. Still doing the Sujimon battles. And I'll probably this next week unlock the Animal Crossing stuff. My goal was to beat it before the 29th of February because I'm going to be gone in, Germany. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
I don't think that's a game that you want to rush. Like, that's not a game you're going to appreciate if you rush it.
Yeah, there's so much to do in the games. And the turnaround time on the game wasn't that long. It was, 3 or 4 years?
It is packed to the gills with content. I can't justify spending like $120 on it, but boy, am I excited for when it inevitably goes on sale for like 75% off.
You can get you can get it for like $60. I bought the $60 pack. 60 or 70.
I can't play a game like this and not do every possible thing.
Yeah, you don't have to pay more than that, really, unless you want to
A
do
lot,
apparently the
a
new
lot
game
of the
plus.
extra stuff is locked behind the DLC, unfortunately.
Oh, lame. I know the new game plus is locked behind the DLC.
I
I'm
think
not
with that
sure.
new game plus, there's features even then that don't become available to you until you're there.
I don't like that, but
And I don't even know what they are, but just knowing that, like, knowing that there could be something that I end up wanting to do, and it's like, oh, well, I didn't pay the extra money. That's sucks to be you. It's like, no, I'll pass on that whole experience.
yeah, that makes sense. And then we played some Lethal Company the wrong way by not using Discord.
No, that's the
And
right. Nope. Pause.
Correct fucking way to play the goddamn
I need
game.
to have a side conversation with Aroa here. Could you go think about something else? This motherfucker, he got us in a lobby, and he's like, "We're gonna play Lethal Company on Discord," and there was silence, and we're like, "Ha, that's a funny joke, Nathan." He's like, "Oh, I'm not joking. If you guys don't hop on Discord, we're just gonna end the stream." And I was like,
we were already on Discord.
Yeah, we were talking about it before, like getting ready to join the lobby and stuff. I was like, I don't think you
No, you
fundamentally get it.
Oh, I get it.
just you deafen in Discord and then you play the fucking games, just like Phasmophobia.
Yeah,
Like-
Phasmophobia is also a game that would be ruined by it being on Discord. It's the same experience for me as when I'm playing like Pavlov or Counter-Strike and somebody gets geeked and you can hear them shout into their teammate. Like, that just ruins it for me. That's not what I'm there to play.
That was but yeah, so we played it the wrong way. We played it on using the crappy in-game audio.
the in-game voice, because you're supposed to have to pay money for the privilege of being able to talk to your teammates outside of a certain radius.
Also, what are you talking about crappy? The audio engineering in this game is by far some of the best I've ever seen in a multiplayer game. I've
When
been
you
saying we need
get-
to do more stuff like this since Splinter Cell Chaos Agent on the original Xbox.
When you move away from people, it makes them quiet or you can't hear them.
Uh-huh.
Why
Sure
would
is
we
spoopy,
be
ain't it?
Why would we be in space? Like we are in outer space, but we can't figure out a way to have earbuds
Oh,
in.
Because we're risking our
can.
lives for $6 whole. The company's not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
So
Like-
anyway, to move on to Connor's point earlier, one of the points he was making to say, hey, the audio is great, right before we went to the stream, was he's like, oh yeah, there's enemies that will like mimic your voices. That's a mod.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah, it's just everyone has that mod.
yeah,
Sorry, I knew of it. I didn't know that was not. To be fair,
Yeah.
that was my very first time playing the game. Was playing with y'all last night. So
Mine
there's
too.
things I knew just circumstantially.
and
Yeah, I thought the same thing whenever I played the first time. I was like, why are enemies not doing the voice? And-
I
Yeah.
didn't know loot bugs get pissed off at you. I thought they were just cute things that walk around.
Oh no, you don't want to. If they think you're gonna steal back from them, then they get mad.
yeah, we did. I saw my friend Airfox die to. I put the clip in there.
Something.
I don't know what it's called, but it's the guy who collects all your stuff, and apparently, if you ring the bell too much, it gets mad at you and eats you. I put that in the online gaming section on my Discord. There was some other. I did install some mods after the stream, so if we ever play it again, one of the things was to up the resolution.
Oh, I don't
'Cause-
hate that call.
Apparently, it runs at 520p.
Yeah,
And
I mean, that's a little bit of the charm, but like you could still keep that grittiness and also have it at a more appropriate
It's-
resolution for streaming.
well,
that is a really easy way that a lot of indie devs try to get that like chunky pixelated PS1 era look,
well,
is just by making the game run at an artificially low res.
Well, part of the problem and part of the reason I think we could have had some different level of communication was because I went into an area, and I don't know if Connor or Sarah or the game shut the door behind me.
No, that was me.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
trying to help you, and then I saw there was a turret, and I was like, nope, I'm just going to keep that closed because he will 100% kill himself.
Well, and so, but the problem was there
I
were
think I
two
locked you
doors.
back there.
You did. There was no way for me to get out. So he locked
Yeah,
me back there, and then I get geeked eventually, and Connor's like, "Oh, I was trying to figure out what door to open to let you out so that you could get out of there, but I couldn't read the screen.
Yeah, we both Sarah and I were like, is that an I, a J, an L? We just tried them all and none of them
Yeah.
worked. So we're like, all right, good luck, buddy.
So upping the resolution
Yeah,
definitely helps out with that. I would hope.
Yeah, that is one annoying thing with that mechanic is
Yeah.
that the screen is very difficult to read, and I don't know if that's necessarily an intended thing.
But you know what?
Uh,
One person made this and he charged me a whole $10 dues for it. So
No, he didn't.
if it's
Yeah.
not right on the first try, that's fine by me. Sorry,
did.
let me clarify. He charged Nathan a whole $10.
There we go. Yeah, it was it was fun. We had fun. I wish you had a little bit of a way to kill the monsters, but more
got a
than
shovel.
just
You do.
well,
Yeah, use a shovel.
apparently it never works, especially when Air Fox is the one with the shovel.
Well, then
Because
what you gotta do,
more than one
what you gotta
time.
do is you go to like Dine. You pay the $600. You go
Uh-huh.
to Dine. You go inside and you hope that a mansion spawns, because that'll just make it very likely for a nutcracker to spawn.
Uh-huh.
Kill the nutcracker and take a shotgun.
Oh, nice. That sounds good.
Then you got a shotgun.
So yeah, more than once it happened with Sarah and it happened with me. Is that we had the shovel, and the face hugger came and like started hugging our face, so we dropped the
yeah.
shovel, and then Air Fox would grab the shovel. The idea is that he would grab the shovel and beat up the face hugger, and then he's like, I can't find the shovel, and then we die because Air Fox can't find the shovel.
I think the one time you had already died, but we found out if we teleport people, it geeks the bug in the process.
Yeah, I teleported Sarah back because
If
I could tell Air Fox was being useless.
If the bug goes outside, it dies. So if you can manage to find the exit with the bug on your face and go outside, that will also kill it.
That is good to know. I'm glad I know that.
Anyway, and those are the two games I played. There's another game I bought for next week that I might play called Helldivers 2 or Starship Troopers, basically.
I'm not sure if that's right. It's more like third-person ODST.
Have you seen at least the trailers make it look like Starship Troopers. That's what I'm saying.
The first game was supposed to be a Starship Troopers game, in fact.
Yeah, and then if you watch the trailer...
It's meant to be an homage to Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's giant bugs. You kill them with assault rifles to protect America, basically, or humanity or whatnot. I got that game. I'll play some more Like a Dragon. Maybe I'll try to get you, Air Fox, and Sarah together to play some more Lethal Company next Friday if we're all free or something. If you want.
Are you using R2 Mod Man to
I am.
do your mod management? Okay. Yeah. That has a really nice feature where you can just share a code with other people so that you all have the same mods.
Oh, that's interesting. But I'd have to make sure they all have R2 Mod Man downloaded.
Yeah. Like, that's easy.
Okay. Because I'm like, I was kind of confused. Like, if I don't have anything crazy for the mods, but would it affect just the host, or does everyone have to have the same mods? I know sometimes that's the case.
Most mods need to be installed for everyone.
Okay.
There are some mods. One mod in particular that I am aware of that gives the host some specific sort of admin powers. Like, that sort of thing only has to be installed for one person, but like anything that adds new monsters or like changes behaviors or anything like that, those
I
have
haven't
to be
installed.
by
I haven't
everyone.
installed any of those. I was going to ask Connor, if he has a MP3 of a Bug City Blues thing, because I have the Boombox mod, so we can start playing Bug City Blues podcast on the Boombox.
You should search for me on Thunderstore.
For
You
you?
should search for Aroa on Thunderstore. I have a mod out there.
We could get all those the joke theme songs that he makes for us on there. I would listen to any of those.
Just have
Running
all
around
of
I
It's just like, why
I
is there
have
fart sounds in the distance?
I have a TV mod on there.
Yeah, there's TV mods, there's boombox mods, so that with
I've got a TV mod that has like 40 videos from my meme collection
interesting.
that I specifically went through the trouble of spending like 4 hours figuring out the exact resolution that the video needs to be to fit within the box and look right.
And then
And I
reconverted it.
re-encoded all of them. And it's like it's like a 600 megabyte mod or some shit.
Anyway, we're going to move on to our news stories. We actually have a lot of news stories to talk about. Did you know NVIDIA has their own chatbot now that you can download locally?
That's pretty nuts. I actually downloaded it whenever we started the podcast. I haven't used it yet though.
Did you
I know you two. Oh, go ahead.
It's also terrible.
Oh,
That
I saw the thing
surprise
that you
me.
posted where it didn't quite get the reference you were making.
Yeah, I asked it for the Konami code, and it was like, it is up, up,
Oh,
down,
yeah.
down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down. I'm like, what?
That is the Konami code if you brute force it.
Yeah. And then I also one of the things I do, the only thing I really do with either Bard or OpenAI or Chat GPT, whatever you want to call it, is I'll go and be like, I can't think of a stream title. Hey, come up with a stream title for my Twitch. My name's Reeton. This is the game I'm going to play. And it usually, with either Gemini, I guess is what the new one is called for Google, or with ChatGPT, it'll be like, Reeton's playing Yakuza like a dragon. Watch him do this dungeon or something like that. Like, it'll come up with something generic, but has a reference to the game with my name. I tried that with the NVIDIA chatbot, and it was like, Reeton plays like a dragon on Twitch. Like,
Very
thanks.
So I know you two have downloaded. I haven't done that yet. There's one feature about this that I'm at least a little bit excited about, which apparently it can index and scan like files and documents that you have. Which
Oh, that makes sense. So you can train it.
That alone would be super duper cool, especially if I could just run it on my computer. Like, I have literally 40 years of Shadowrun books on my hard drive. Like, that would be so cool for it to just be like, I need a story, come up with a run. But from what I've seen, it's not quite that good yet.
Yeah, it's not great. I haven't done any of the scanning or anything like that, so hopefully it gets better. Maybe, I don't know if I wanted to scan my library files.
If you could have it choose some files, I might ask you to do some testing for me. Just like, I'll give you a PDF and have you ask it some questions. Just like for a litmus test to see how well it is, you know?
Yeah. Right now, not great from what I've experienced, but I have done just the install. You do require, if you want to try it out yourself, you can go to the link down below. But you do need a RTX 30 or 40 series NVIDIA GPU, basically.
Which I do have. I try not to do any downloading while I'm at home. If anything, I'll download it at work and I'll bring it over on a flash drive or something.
You need
all the downloading.
You need at least
I'm a
16.
computer.
Yeah, you need at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. It says you need Windows 11, but I got it installed on Windows 10.
What does that even mean, needing Windows 11? Does anything really only support Windows 11 yet? Like, what does that look like architecturally?
That's
just
Windows.
An open question. You don't have to answer.
It's Windows 10. They've added some like new features that they blocked off from Windows 10, but yeah, like anything that says Windows 11, I've never had any problems running it on Windows 10.
I think it might also be that NVIDIA has like an agreement with Microsoft or something where like they're not supposed to say anything specifically for Windows 10 ever.
Yeah.
No, guys, you're not supposed to
stop being
download it.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be supported for much longer.
Next year, yeah, 2025 is when they're cutting it off. So
remember how like Windows XP was supported up until like 50 years after it came out?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was released in the 1960s, actually. No, it was supported for a long time, and I wonder if Windows 10 is going to be the same way, where they extend support past 2025, because they did that with Windows XP, but they also did that with Windows 7.
Honestly, it all depends how well Windows 11 goes. Like, I think the reason they supported Windows XP so long is because Vista was a big stinker.
Well,
Yeah,
Vista and 8.
and
We don't
seven
talk
had
about
like
it.
ridiculous,
Hardware
ridiculously
requirements, like
hardware requirements
people
compared to
couldn't just migrate from XP to 7 the way that they could, 7 to 10, for example.
Right.
yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens next year. Well, of course, if we get if there's an extension or something like that, we'll probably mention it on the podcast because we have nothing else to talk about. And we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Microsoft. There were some big rumors that were happening before last week's podcast, and I purposely ignored them because I did not want to speculate on the podcast about what Microsoft was doing because I was looking at the rumors, going, that's stupid. This is probably not going to happen. Let's just not talk about it until they actually have their conference. And some of the rumors were like, Microsoft's not going to make any new consoles. It's going third party like Sega. And they're like, they did their conference and they said, oh yeah, we're bringing 4 Xbox exclusives to other consoles. They didn't list what exclusives they were. They just said that was basically it. And they're like, we're still making hardware.
I mean, realistically, it's
Right.
going to be, what, Halo? Halo Infinite's going
It's
to go
not
on?
Halo. Not Halo. It's more likely to be their like B tier games like Grounded.
Yeah, you are
Yours.
incredibly correct, unfortunately.
Yeah. The rumors are not that the rumors are to be are to be believed, but they're probably not bringing their big game like Halo or anything like that or Gears, but they're going to be bringing like Grounded and some other games that are going to be on the PS5 or whatnot to kind of show good faith and say, hey, look, see, we're supporting other consoles. Let us have Activision still. What were you going to say, Roa?
Well, I saw a lot of people saying that like, and I don't see any evidence of this, that like Starfield isn't going to be on PS5 or at least not on any other console, but like I don't see anything that specifically names Starfield in anywhere in here, so I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. It looks like
but
yeah, the rumors are it's going to be like Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded maybe, but who knows? We'll have to wait until they actually release the ones that are going to be on there. And
The games that didn't sell enough copies.
basically,
I mean I saw a quote somewhere. This article honestly is not
it's not very good.
very
Yeah.
but I saw a quote somewhere that what's his ass Phil Spencer said that he sees a future where every screen is an Xbox. Like he essentially wants Xbox to be the name of the Microsoft gaming platform on the whole. So when you're playing Minecraft on your Switch, you're playing an Xbox game or on your Switch, so to speak. So it seems like maybe they're starting out by saying we're putting 4 exclusives on other consoles to see what happens before they go and dedicate a whole bunch of time and resources to putting their big name shit onto like the PS5 or whatever. But like it makes perfect sense to just put your shit on as many consoles as possible.
Yeah.
Like
you're
just
going to make more money that way.
your shit the widest audience. It's I don't know if it was in this Discord or if it was somewhere else, but I said that like Microsoft has been doing this for a very long time, where their entire thing, really, I think it's their CEO that I can't remember the name of, is Microsoft Satya Nadella.
I don't know. Sure. Steve Ballmer.
The president?
I get him and the head of Google's names mixed up because I'm racist, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've like Microsoft has long had a policy that like they want to port their shit and make it as accessible as possible, because at the end of the day, they're getting money out of it. That's why they have Microsoft Office on Mac OS, in spite of the fact that Macs are such a small segment of the computing space. It's like at the end of the day, though, like if they make their products cross-platform as possible, then it's not going to take very much for them to make a whole lot of money off of every company that utilizes MacBooks. You know,
The only bad thing is you got to support it then, or maybe you don't.
Well, and we saw that with Visual Studio on Mac OS, because now they've gone and killed that right after they released a massive update. They were like, okay, this is the last one you're getting.
I'm just gonna go ahead and
use
throw
Windows.
it out there. If you're using a MacBook for your programming environment, you're not a good programmer.
Well, I mean, if you're the only thing I can say is if you're programming only for Macs or iPods.
I think if you're using Visual Studio
That's
on
true,
your
yeah.
MacBook, presumably then you are programming for Windows machines, and at that point, what are you doing?
You're flaunting your wealth at that. Well, then I say this while projecting on so many people I met in college. It's like, fuck, why are you making Windows japlets on your MacBook? Of course it's not compiling.
Like, and that has been Microsoft's thing for a while, though, is to make everything cross-platform. That's why you have the web versions of Office. That's why that's kind of why they fucked themselves on the mobile market, because they were supporting like Android phones at the same time that they were trying to get people to buy Windows phones. Like they just want to have as wide of an audience as possible, and they've said that like they don't care what device you're using. They just want you to either put Windows or Office on there, because then they can, get your money and harvest your data.
And that's what they want, all your money and all your data.
Yeah, just like Google.
So I do hope that they start bringing over other exclusives to, like, PlayStation 5 or the Switch 2.
The sequel to Switch.
The sequel to the Switch, because we saw how the Outer Worlds turned out on the Switch, and it wasn't great.
Finally, I can get my Xbox games on Switch. And glorious, let me just check my notes here. 144p.
Yes. And so, I mean, but yeah, I mean, like, having them even on Steam is a big deal, right? When Halo first started coming to Steam, and so they're slowly moving towards that. Hey, we're gonna be on everything, but you can also buy our console still, and that's really cool.
And I said whenever people were doing the fucking rumors about, well, they might stop making consoles. Like, well, why would they?
Yeah.
Like, as long as they're at least breaking even on the console market, what would be the point in that? Because if you get somebody in on the console side of things, like, you have somebody who's just going, you know what? I'm going to buy a game console either for myself or for my kid, and I don't currently have one. Which one am I going to buy? Like, if you give somebody a fucking Xbox console, then you've roped them into your walled garden.
Exactly.
Like, now you've got an Apple grade customer where, like, they're hopefully going to want to buy everything Xbox, and then you have the licenses on accessories like third-party controllers and shit, because you can't make even an Xbox controller now without having a license from Microsoft. Like,
and then there's those suckers who pay for Game Pass.
Yeah.
Those people paying us monthly so that they can play one game.
Yeah. And Xbox Live Gold, which I don't think is a thing anymore.
No, that's all wrapped up in the Game Pass. Yeah, that's all part of a Game Pass.
Yeah. Game Pass. Yeah, Game Pass Ultimate, right?
Ew.
You have to have Ultimate. Yeah.
To do anything online?
No, I think there's others. I think there's some stuff you can get.
I mean, like, to play online. I'm not like, oh, you could look at the Play Store. Like
yeah,
at least with the old Xbox, you needed gold to do anything else. That wasn't like looking at stuff you could buy.
I'm
I
pretty sure that's just all Ultimate now. I don't really know.
Ew, Microsoft,
I'm
what are you
not a
doing?
not a pleb, so
yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on and we're gonna talk about the next story. This one somebody else brought up. Apparently, there's an NPC in Baldur's Gate 3 named Wulbren Bongle, and everyone hates him. So they started
that's
a Reddit.
weird.
I think it was Connor who brought this up, or was it Nick
I-
Lotus?
I haven't even played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, homie.
It was Nick Lotus.
Yeah, I
So
have no idea who this character is.
yeah, I was like, I don't recognize this character, but apparently he's the worst person in Baldur's Gate 3.
Looks like they're a Snivelbarn, which is like a dark dwarf. Or,
Yeah,
sorry, a dark
deep
gnome, I
gnome.
mean.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's fun.
Oh.
They're
So-
usually like crazy crackheads.
It says here, this is from thegamer.com. Now, some players have taken this hate to a new level. Wulbren Bongle anti-fans are being invited to join a community dedicated to their hatred for the guy in the form of a new subreddit titled r/fuck Wulbren Bongle, except without the asterisk, because they're not allowed to swear on there, so they didn't say the fuck part. The subreddit is already over 300 members strong and is full of Baldur's Gate 3 fans vetting about the guy. Jesus, why? Who cares? And one of the people says even his name is stupid, which, yeah, it kind of is.
The
But
gnome.
gnomes have really
Gnomes are
stupid
supposed to have
names.
stupid names.
You left him to die in Moonrise Tower because he becomes extremely hateable the second you set him free. Oh, I let him die on accident. That's why I never met this guy. Because I couldn't figure out how to free them, so I just beat the game.
Good
or
luck.
Beat that. Yeah, good luck, guys. It was because I was dumb, to be honest, and if I played through the game again, I would have explored that area a little bit more. But apparently, after you free him, he becomes even worse. We would have way more to talk about if Nick Lotus were here, but neither of you have played Baldur's Gate 3 all that way yet. Play it, Aroa. Play.
Yeah, I probably should go back to it some point.
I have literally had people pass me cracks for this game, being like, "Hey, I know you'd like this game. You should play this game." I'll play it someday. I'm not ready to play it yet. I'll play it someday.
It says
I got it
here.
on GOG.
It says here he mistreats Barkus. I don't know who that is. At every turn, who risked his life to save him from the absolute cultists. And even if you side with Wulbren at every single turn, he'll try to kill you if you don't want to slaughter the Gondians. So if you don't want to slaughter a group of people, he will try to kill you, even if you do everything else the way that he wants you to do it.
I thought Gondor was from Lord of the Rings.
Gondian, not Gondor.
Oh god! Oh, whoops.
Yeah, something like that.
But
we're gonna move on.
Gondorians.
And we're going to talk about Sony are not releasing anything new for a year.
In other words, it's a great time to be marketing your games in Xbox.
Apparently. Yeah, so Sony Interactive, this is from Gematsu. Gematsu? Sony Interactive Entertainment will not release any major new existing franchise titles before March 31st, 2025. So, I don't know why, but that's what's happening.
In development still?
Yeah. Regarding first-party software, we aim to continue to focus on producing high-quality works and developing live service games.
Why?
But while major projects are currently under
Stop it.
development, we do not plan to release any new major existing franchise titles the next fiscal year, like God of War Ragnarok and Marvel Spider-Man 2.
No, what it sounds like they're doing. It sounds like they're gambling with the company money.
It sounds like I mean, obviously they're all in development and games take a long time to make. But it sounds like they didn't have a great roadmap, honestly, to where they could be like, oh shit, we need to release something in 2024. And the president's like, nah, we'll be good.
Why does this always happen with Sony specifically? Why does Sony always have game drought?
Yeah.
Well, they're not. They don't specify that like they're not releasing anything.
Right.
Just
They
not
just
first
said that they're
person
not
titles or
releasing
first party titles.
any new major existing franchise titles. So they're not releasing a sequel to God of War or to
Marvel
uh,
Spider-Man or
Spider-Man
Uncharted.
or the other one
Days
that
Gone.
Naughty Dog does. Yeah,
Crash
whatever.
Bandicoot.
The Last of Us. That was what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, Microsoft owns Crash Bandicoot now.
Oh yeah. Forgot
Yeah,
about
ain't
that.
that nuts?
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, so they're not releasing any major
'Cause
titles. So they're not releasing a Days Gone 2, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, but
Oh man.
this could easily mean that they've got a new franchise coming, or how they're re-releasing Until Dawn, like that shit.
Yeah.
That's all that means.
They did say that they're releasing a new version of they're releasing a HD remaster of Until Dawn, or is it a remake? I think it's a remaster.
It's probably just ported into Unreal 5.
Yeah, probably. We'll see.
And it's also coming to PC.
We'll see what they release. I mean, I'm sure that the PlayStation fans will have enough video games that they'll be able to do. They'll be able to satiate their desire to play video games. But I do think it's a little.
Apparently, something called Stellar Blade is coming out in April.
No idea what that is. Probably a puzzle game.
It's a new intellectual property, which is further to my point. It's just.
I do wonder.
Oh, Stellar Blade is Stellar Blade's like a cinematic action sword choppy, sexy Korean-looking girl game.
Nice. That sounds good. Oh yeah, I think we covered that for one of the conferences, and I said you might be interested in this because of that, because it was a sexy Korean.
Well, it genuinely looks pretty cool.
Yeah. That it's been a long time, and they still haven't announced what Ben's studio is doing. It's still there. I know people who work there still. They haven't announced what game they're making yet. And it's been
for the PS6.
It's been like 7 years.
Days Gone 2.
It's for the PS6.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be something, or at the very end of the PS5 life cycle, kind of like what they did with Days Gone, where
Night's Here.
What?
Night's Here.
Interesting.
Days Gone. Night's Here.
Boo.
We're moving on to our last.
Hold on, I did have just one thing I wanted to like. The reason I brought up the story is I had an idea when I was reading this article.
Okay.
Do you guys think we are getting close to the point where games in development, like right now, maybe not right now, but soon, are going to be passed up by games that are just starting but backed by AI? Do you think we are going to see that before 2025, like Sony is saying? How close do you guys think we are to that? I'm trying to think of a good word for it. Tipping point.
It's going to take a few years, and the reason for that is they still require artists to go in and fix up the AI art. Now that's changing, but I think I mentioned before, I have a friend on Facebook who was like complaining about having to go into some AI generated art for a game that she was working on and fixing the hands and eyes. And she was like, I like actually doing art, so if this is all that I'm going to be doing with my skills, I might just quit the business. And
was that what you were talking about, or were you talking about like that one NPC tech where and ChatGPT basically generates dialogue for the game in real time?
I guess neither. I guess I'm thinking it's more the latter than the former. Definitely. I'm just wondering how close are we to somebody saying, "Okay, AI, please make me a game using the Unreal Engine that has these components," and that's their sandbox. And then at some point, somebody will go on and build on it. Like, I don't want to say from the ground up, but just like the fundamentals of it will be generated by code. Like
It'll
you'll have the same prompts when anyone's playing it, but at that point the AI will just use the engine to make what it needs to.
At
it'll
least
take
2
a while.
years.
Yeah, it'll take a couple of years, 3 years.
The only issue I can think of right now is that the hardware that we have in houses isn't powerful enough for that. But I have a weird feeling.
It would all have to be sent out to data centers and generated there. Like the instructions would have to be generated there
Right.
and then shoved back here. I know that there are already plugins for Unreal 5 that do that to a degree, but it's nothing like a fully fleshed out game or anything.
Yeah,
The only reason I think the only reason I bring that up is because when I hear Sony's not doing anything for over a year, for 13 months, 13 months is a lot of time for AI to catch up.
yeah, that's true. I think that you could get fundamentals like make the shooty happen, and you can get stuff like that happening. But those are already built into like Unreal. Like you
I'm
can just
thinking more
double
like
click something.
a Shadows of Doubt, or to be even more relatable, a Minecraft or something like that. Like something that is fundamentally randomly generated off of seed, but it's just going to do it in real time. And with that being said, I think the real limiter keeping this from happening the way that I'm envisioning it is that the hardware is just not powerful enough to do that sort of thing.
It'll take
Yeah,
a while, but
not locally.
it's getting to the point where I haven't messed with it and I haven't really watched anything, but from what I'm seeing is that AI like video is starting to get decent.
Yeah, Sora, we don't have any stories about that, but you could just give a machine a prompt and it still looks creepy and it activates my uncanny valley triggers, but it does it fast.
Yeah, and
Don't like it.
I don't like it
That
either.
was watching that footage. It was like that was whenever I switched sides. That was it. That was it. Sora it was the point where I was like, no, this has already gone too far, and we need to stop right now.
Yeah, yeah,
I no longer support this, and like I fully wholeheartedly mean that. I think that like there's room for LLMs in terms of like replacing the current like chatbot things, but I think we need to stop there because this whole like trying to replicate reality using AI, it's no, I
It's
just
gonna
don't
be-
see any positive thing about it at all anymore.
Oh, there's definitely going to be malicious agents who are going to use this for bad. But
Oh, yeah.
I could probably finally have AI SpongeBob back in my phone, and I could just be like, make an episode about this, haha. That's what I want my AI to do. I don't want to make it using like political ads, which is what it's ultimately going to do.
that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. It's
and-
gonna
and
be
it's
gonna be
not going to
political.
be it's not going to be done on your phone. It's going to be done in a data center that consumes 30 gallons of water for every second of footage that gets produced. Like
Yeah, we need to nip that in
my
the bud.
my major problem with it right now is that we already have so many problems with climate change and like energy crises across the planet. We don't need something so superfluous as look, we can make doggy. Like we don't need that right now. Okay, it's
You know
it's
what
fine.
this is going to be used for, right, Aurora? And here, let me just put on my Hideo Kojima mask. Okay, here I am. I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid 4. Okay, this is going to be used in actual terrorism.
Yeah.
I know this is a bummer. This is going to be used to ruin people's lives. This is going to be used with actual political / geopolitical / warframe applications. People are going to. Okay, I'm taking off the Kojima mask. I can't breathe in here.
We're gonna have political targets that are going to be blackmailed by other countries with really convincing AI generated bullshit. We're going to have propaganda generated by terrorist cells trying to get people to think that like the United States blew up like some innocent country or something and they weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah,
this time.
we have to we have to make up that America went and blew up another country.
Or,
Definitely
well,
don't have tons and tons of records of that already.
Or fucking the United States military like attacked a domestic town like a United States town and then covered it up and then we have like video footage of that happening. Like it's that kind of shit though. Like you get what I'm saying? It's only going to get worse. And it's like the AI companies are trying to be like Like, well, don't worry about it. We'll just include metadata in the thing. And it's like, you think what? You think that what, just because you're able to put metadata in the shit that you're generating, that somehow that's going to prevent anybody else from just replicating your fucking work? Like, that's all it's going to require, is that, like,
Yeah.
we're going to need a stable diffusion that can do video on the level of OpenAI, and that's going to happen. Stable Diffusion already does video. Yeah, I know that, but like, they're maybe like 3 years behind OpenAI in terms of quality right now, because Stable Diffusion XL is like really fucking good. It's not DALL-E 3, but it's really fucking good. You give it another 3 years, and assuming that the world hasn't imploded on itself by then, like, there are going to be 4chaners who can make really, really photorealistic videos of like Barack Obama blowing Hitler. Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I do love the.
You mean you haven't seen that video yet?
I do love the like the Q conspiracy people who are like, yeah, so it's this person Q, and he goes on to places like 4chan, and I'm just like, sure, that's who we're trusting here.
Pardon me. You used 8chan, okay? Not 4chan.
But yeah, like I know that they try to put safeguards in. Like, you go into Chat GPT and you can't get it to say the N-word unless you try really, really hard.
Unless that was your grandmother's favorite word and you're asking it to tell you a bedtime story which features that word exclusively, in which case it'll probably do it.
Yeah, probably. I have a Alexa, and this
you
morning,
have it say the N-word all the time.
well, I did ask it. I was like, hey, what's that black character's name in Huckleberry Finn? And it's like, I don't know the answer. Its response was, I don't know the answer to that. And
stop lying. Yes, you do.
so I asked it again. I was like, what about from Tom Sawyer? And it's like, oh, that character's name is Jim.
Just
like, okay.
Jim.
Just Jim. Oh, okay. But yeah, so like they have safeguards, but they're pretty easy to circumvent. Like, if you want to get it to say something, you can get it to say something. So they'll say, hey, we're gonna put in safeguards for these videos, but people are going to abuse it or find a way to get that algorithm and then be able to do it on a home computer. It might not be as good, but I'm assuming that they're still going to try to do it and then post it online.
Or did you mean to do that?
No, my internet cut out, and then it rejoined me to the channel and automatically played the fart.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
So we're going to move on to our last story now. And that story is about web. This is from Aroa. It's about web apps in the European Union, saying it's too hard to comply with the rules, so it's disabling iPhone web apps. What rules is it hard to comply with?
So this is all stemming from Apple being required to essentially allow app side loading in Europe, which includes allowing third-party developers to make their own web engines. So, to explain that, basically right now, if you have an iPhone, every browser that you use on an iPhone, whether that be Chrome, whether that be Firefox, whether that be Safari, is actually just Safari. It's just Safari with a skin on top of it. All of them are built on top of WebKit. You are required to use WebKit as your rendering engine.
It's kind of like how every web browser except for Firefox is just Chrome.
Right. Except for Firefox and Safari.
Yeah.
So what these rules now require is that you can now actually properly put Chrome on an iPhone or Firefox on an iPhone, and it will use the Gecko rendering engine or the Chromium rendering engine, whatever. That is what Apple is very upset about, and so as part of that, they're being huge fucking dicks and just taking away what are called I think it's no PWAs. That's it. PWAs, which are progressive web apps, which is the thing where if you're using a lot of Chromium-based browsers, you'll get a little thing at the top of the screen that's like, you can install this website. And most of the time, it's stupid, and why would you want to do that? But on a phone, it makes more sense. Because a lot of times installing a website like that will give it extra features like being able to send you notifications, which I've know of a couple of websites where they don't have a native iOS app. That is the only way that you can like get notifications or have it integrate with your phone in any meaningful way. And yeah, with the what Apple is doing here by removing that capability and essentially making it so that if you add a website to your home screen, which is how you would install a PWA on iPhones, it's now just a shortcut to Safari or to whatever your primary web browser is. Uh, their their stated reasoning for that is that, well, we don't know if the other web browsers are going to be as secure as Safari. So what if a user installs a PWA and it's malicious? What if there's an exploit in Chromium that they could exploit it, and then the user installs it and it's bad? And all of this overarching is related to how Apple is being a bunch of little fucking crybaby bitches about how they have to allow side loading, and they're grabbing onto every little fucking loophole that they can so that they can still fuck over everyone involved. So which is why there's still a fucking fee for if you sell an app on an alternative fucking app store on iOS, and how you have to meet these certain standards for you to even get your app store on iOS, which in my opinion kind of defeats the whole fucking purpose of the law in general. Like,
Yeah.
the whole point is that you are required to open up your ecosystem, but apparently the EU left shit open so that if you're somebody like Apple, you can be like, well, yeah, you can install an alternative app store or make one for our platform, but you're going to have to follow these standards and give us 10% of all your income. And like at that point, how much of a difference has this actually made?
Not much. And also, like, that's the whole point of the installing other app stores, is that you can circumvent what all those things. Like, you're supposed to be able to circumvent like their kind of draconian process for being like approving apps on the App Store. And also things like, hate to say it, like Netflix, and circumventing the I think they may have changed it for specific things like Netflix, but wasn't it like 30% if you used the Netflix app to purchase, Apple would get 30% of that? That's part of the reason why Netflix was more expensive on the iPhone, and also why Twitter is more expensive for Twitter Blue on the iPhone.
Yeah, you weren't up until very recently, because of all of this litigation from the EU. You weren't able to sell anything in your app unless it went through Apple's payment transaction services. So if you sold a subscription, it had to run through Apple's payment service, which meant that Apple took a cut.
30%.
That's why you couldn't. That's why you couldn't. With some apps, it would just straight up say, "Sorry, you can't buy a subscription through this app. Please open the website in your browser and buy it from there." That was a really annoying thing with the Bandcamp app. Is you couldn't actually, you can buy music through the Bandcamp app because
Netflix was the big one that did that. But there were other ones as well, and then that was something that Elon Musk complained about when they started doing the Twitter Blue stuff, and he's like, it just costs more, and it's like, yeah, but who the fuck's gonna buy Twitter Blue? And we found out it's just stupid people. Just stupid people buy Twitter Blue.
Yeah.
It's don't do it. Don't buy Twitter Blue. But anyway, this sucks. I don't like it, but there's not much more for us to say. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna call it a day. Thank you for being here, Cyberpunk Monk.
Carabra, I do have an honorable mention if you want to quickly blow through that.
Oh, is that EA one?
It is it's Ubisoft, but yeah, it is a
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft one. It'll take me like 30 seconds.
Okay.
So you guys know how they made a new Prince of Persia game?
Yeah, side scroller, right?
I don't. Maybe. Anyways, that's not the important part.
It's a Metroidvania.
They offered a $10,000 bounty to have people come in and be like, "Hey, speedrun our game. We want to, celebrate it, haha." And somebody won it. They got the reward. And then know what they did is they turned around and all of the techniques that they used to do that speedrunning, they patched out of the game. So instead of hiring QA developers, they just had a $10,000 tournament, saw what people were doing, and like, great, that is what we will fix.
I love that. I love that so much.
I hate it. I hate it.
Kind of bad faith.
It is bad faith, but still.
I mean, it's Ubisoft. It's not like they had a lot of good faith to begin with, but like, ooh, that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't find a story talking about this, but I heard about this and it made my jaw drop.
Do you guys remember a little over a decade ago, they would come out with like the Major League Baseball game, and they would always have like every year, the first person to pitch a perfect game on a certain difficulty or whatever, would then win a prize, like a $10,000 prize. You guys remember that at all?
Kind of.
So for years, it was once the day the game released, whoever pitched the perfect game after that would get that prize. And then one year they changed it. So the competition actually started a month or a couple weeks after the game released. And there was a ex-professional wrestler named Stevie Richards who bought the game and pitched the perfect game. But it was before the competition started. And he contacted EA, and he didn't even care about the money. He was just like, hey, I pitched the perfect game already, but I know that I didn't win the competition because it didn't start yet. But if you wanted to, I still have kind of a name. I could be there and give the giant check away to the person or whatever, kind of do a collab thing. And their response was just a form email that was like, no, the competition didn't start. You didn't win. Like, okay, good to know that you didn't read the email. But yeah, these competitions are always silly. And it is kind of funny to me, Connor, that they patched those out of the game. I know it's bad, and I think they should have kept those in there, but also that's kind of hilarious. You have to admit, just a little.
I like everything except that if we're complaining about people losing jobs, this is the job of a QA tester.
That's true. That is, and you know that Ubisoft does have QA testers, but I don't know. Like QA testers are great, but they're not speedrunners. So speedrunners are going to find things that even the QA testers aren't going to be able to find.
It's also like, okay, even if they do, they're a lot of times it's just going to be speed tech. Like I don't understand why you would patch out speed tech like that unless you're just trying to be an asshole.
We want less people playing our games. We hate when our games show up on a GDQ.
Listen.
Yeah, it's like that, and also that, well, if people figure out the speedrun tech, then that's going to lower overall player counts.
Well, and so
it's like people could. What if you beat the game within 2 hours and then refund it on Steam? We can't.
Okay,
have that.
I guess that is a good point. I was gonna say it's not like people are going to Blockbuster anymore, but I guess you could refund a game. But like if you're speedrunning a game for the first time, you're not really doing it right. That's like playing. That's like playing Lethal Company on a Discord call. Like you're fundamentally not understanding what the point is at that point.
So, I'm gonna ignore that. But when I was there's also like legacy, I guess is what they call it, like legacy bugs, that they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna patch that because it's been in there forever and we don't know what we're doing. on Days Gone, I was like, hey, and I went up to the QA guy and I was like, I was playing through the, build of the game, and I jumped off something, and then I hit the button to get off the vehicle, and instead of having fall damage, the vehicle landed and I got off the vehicle. And they said, oh yeah, that's a legacy bug. So we reported that, but they won't fix it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I wonder how many of these were like things that, as you said, QA did find, and the developers were like, you know what, we're working on everything else right now, and that doesn't break the game fundamentally, so we're just gonna move on. And that very well could have been something like that. And then the speedrunner found those bugs, those exploits very quickly. And they're like, okay, finally, I guess we have time to patch those out. Maybe. That's just me, spitballing ideas there. Anywho.
I see you wearing that angel outfit. I'm just saying I think it leaves a particularly bad taste in the mouth from the perspective of the community.
Right. And we're done. I want to thank you for being here, Cyberpunk Monk.
Like I said, it only took 30 seconds.
Yeah. And thank you for being here, Aroa Punk Monk.
Yep. I was here. Sorry, I killed my internet for a second there.
Yeah, that happened.
It was hilarious.
And thank you for being here, reading. And we'll be back next week talking about more stuff. And then after that, it'll be 2 to 3 weeks of Aroa and Connor podcast. So I expect nothing but fart jokes. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Those are usually our best podcasts, man.